Hey guys, hi Ghosty in the chat. Actually, if you had a Twitter account, you would see a phenomenal tweet from Maria Sakkari today, which I'm gonna start the broadcast from because I don't know, I don't care. Anyway, someone basically posted that Kudermetova has a terrible record in the in WTA semifinals, like losing 8 of them already or something like this. And under that, there was a comment, she's coming for you, Maria Sakkari, and someone mentioned her. And Sakkari's response to this was, I'm unbeatable, and the emoji of the, when you do this with your arm, should I cannot, flexing your biceps or whatever. I thought that was pretty hilarious. I like this sort of auto-irony, and just having a lot, being able to laugh at yourself, at oneself, is definitely a trait that I do consider valuable. The reason why we just started, of course, was the rain. You can argue about the scheduling in Rome being kind of spotty in terms of them just basically not caring about the forecast whatsoever. I'm not gonna stop you if that is your idea. Tiafoing, yeah, that's something like that. I suppose. And yeah, you can argue about that scheduling in Rome, as I said. But anyway, we're starting. Hopefully, there's not going to be any more delays. It's just been an hour, more or less, so it's not that bad. Ostapenko won the toss and will start the match on her serve, by the way. And just when it comes to the matchup, some very quick thoughts before we get on with it. I think, Ostapenko has always been like the more natural clay courter, which makes me think that she is probably a little underrated here. But I do see some matchup issues. Like, I think she is at her most, Ostapenko is most effective when she can either play someone who's like pretty defensive or someone who just has a lot of, just a very clear weakness she can go after. I don't know, like when she played Świątek in Dubai last year, or when she played Goff in the Australian Open fourth round this year, right? Something like this. I think this is where she shines most of the time. And against someone like Rybakina, who has such a big serve and also plays very early, very fast off the bounce usually, maybe on clay a little slower because, it's just tougher with the bad bounces. But I think it might be a little more difficult for Ostapenko to just overwhelm an opponent like this. Then again, heavy conditions after the rain, I think that actually could suit the Latvian. But we'll see. But yeah, just stylistically, I don't really like the matchup for Ostapenko. However, she is the better clay courter in my eyes, I think. On her day, of course, because there's just such a big gap between her ceiling and her floor. Whereas for Rybakina, it seems like it doesn't exist really anymore. But, of course, every time for every player, this gap between the ceiling and the floor exists. But I just feel like for Rybakina, it's really minuscule right now, and like she has been able to deliver in 90% of her matches this year. Whereas for Ostapenko, we all know how it is. But still, it's been a pretty solid year for the Latvian. I was actually surprised to learn this yesterday, but this year, we're in the middle of May. She's played 10, 11 events, something like this. I think maybe this is her 11th. And the only time she lost in the first round was Adelaide at the beginning of the year. So that's a pretty awesome record, I think, for someone like Ostapenko, who's, just generally struggles to be consistent. She always makes it through the first round. Sometimes then loses, soundly in the second, but still, I think that's a very good record for her. I haven't done this, I haven't checked it over the years, but I would assume that most of the time it wasn't really like that. That most of the time in the middle of May she was losing in the openers a lot more. She could be in trouble early here after a couple of unforced errors, and Rybakina sends her on the move on the fourth point as well, 1540. We can already see that moving Ostapenko around will be a tactic that the well, I don't want to say the Kazakh, but the player representing Kazakhstan is going to try to employ. And it was definitely effective here. Just no way for Ostapenko to play this sort of a ball on the run usually. That's a wicked serve. Fantastic angle on that slice serve out wide from Ostapenko, and she saves the first break point. And of course, against Rybakina, I think it will be very, very crucial to for her to hold serve. I'm assuming that the Wimbledon champion is not gonna, just give her that many breaks. That's the first like a big hitting rally of the match. And Ostapenko actually wins it with a very surprising change of direction back to Rybakina's forehand. It certainly felt like there's going to be an opening there down the line, and I think Rybakina was expecting Ostapenko to take it. Did not manage to hold on against that counter. So she has saved the first two breakpoints here, and we're back at the deuce. Some people who care like more about tennis outfits would probably be talking about Ostapenko's. Interesting choice of colors here. I'm just gonna leave it to your imagination. But she definitely has been like, even for someone like me who doesn't really care about this stuff, she has been very interesting in her choices, which I honestly like it. I think that the more absurd the kit, the better. And like if I was a pro tennis player, I would probably be wearing like some weird designs, I think. Like maybe not designs, because I guess for me it would be like more designs in terms of like the pattern on the shirt or something, not necessarily. But I guess it's easier probably with skirts. Anyway, no, I was not supposed to be talking about outfits. I just said that I wasn't going to do that, and now I'm doing this. Anyway, Ostapenko hits a pretty decent serve, I thought, but Rybakina just steps forward into the court and blasts a cross-court backhand, which sends it back to deuce, the opening game. Good call on Russian. No, I'm not going to remind anyone about this. I generally think that people like boasting about their predictions are kind of naive. But yeah, okay, yeah. I'm not gonna be talking about it that much. But yeah, one of my better ones for sure. But I think if more people were familiar with Maroshan's game, then probably more people would be thinking that he could trouble Alcaraz. It actually gave me a few good ideas, but I'm not gonna spoil anything yet. But I do have a nice idea. What's wrong with the boasting? I think I just personally don't like that fake on. I mean, I don't know if it's fake, but definitely a bit of modesty is something that I enjoy. Anyway, Rybakina breaks with another backhand cross-court return on that outside. Playing very, very deep to the Ostapenko backhand and getting a short response that she just puts away. So there is that first break after all. Ghosty was also asking if is Rybakina's big serve less of a weapon on clay? For sure. But, even if it's some pretty slow clay, even if the conditions are pretty heavy here after the rain, I mean, they have to be. That's, we've seen just one game, but that's the assumption, of course, when it was raining. When it's been raining, maybe even. Still, we've seen some players just easily hold serve for like the entire match this tournament as well. So it's possible, but it's definitely a little tougher. How do you rate Penko's return game of the serve? She hits a pretty mean ball, like when it's right in her comfort zone, right? But generally, I don't know if she's like the best returner out there, I would say. But yeah, maybe if she just gets the timing right on some flat first serves from Rybakina and yeah, just goes for it, that could be good. But when she can't really like land a clean hit on it, then she's probably not the best returner in the world. And I guess that's all. Kalinina is the Struff of Rome, sort of, yeah. Immodesty. Yeah, getting back into the match so far, that first return in this game was pretty excellent from Ostapenko, but she did not even touch the ball. Actually, I think Ostapenko is also one of the more like she is one of the players who are more tempted to guess on return of serve sometimes when she's playing like a big serving opponent. I've seen it against Qin Zheng, for example, when she was just literally straight up guessing where Zheng was gonna go, and that of course led to like high number of aces for the Chinese. But yeah, when the serve has some pace on it, she can really, I think, blast into it very well. And if you just play a very slow second serve, that's going to be tough for her as well, right? I mean, that's going to be some very easy pickings for Ostapenko as well, I think. And just right now, she blasted a huge return down the line from of her backhand side, but now Rybakina gets the ball on the line, and that depth was surprising for the Latvian, who did not get it. Uh, who did not manage to play it back. I will have to check that match between her and Qin Zheng, but I do believe that there were some big ace numbers for the Chinese there, and that was mostly because Ostapenko was guessing, yeah. But here so far, another huge serve from Rybakina gives her just a +1 forehand that she had to take. When did they play? Qin Zheng, Ostapenko. Is it Abu Dhabi? I think it might be. And what was the... this side kind of works different, but she was hitting, yeah, I mean, basically, Zheng was hitting an ace 1 per every 8 points, which is quite big. So yeah, I've seen that before. Maybe she will be doing something similar here, but definitely, like even after what we saw in the opening game, you can see why holding serve for Ostapenko will be kind of key here, especially as she doesn't have that sort of a weapon to rely on, and right now has just committed a double fault to start the third game. But it's Ostapenko, right? She can lose the opening set, love 6, and then she can win the next one also with a bagel. So you never really know. But now she gets a very nice serve down the tee, just an ace. I think maybe Rybakina like barely touched it. It wasn't the highest in terms of speed, just about, I guess in miles it would be like 105 or something like this, 170 kilometers an hour. But it was placed well enough to give her the point. That Rybakina return was also placed well enough, and Ostapenko misses the backhand just barely, I think. She is complaining about that return, actually. I think she thinks that it was out. Oh, and if that's the mark that they are showing, then definitely it was out. I have to agree with Ostapenko there, because the mark that they showed was clearly out, and like not even close. But of course, she knows that she stopped play. I mean, she didn't stop play, so there's nothing that can be done right now. She barely missed the backhand down the line and is again in a bit of trouble. This serve should help, though. I mean, the forehand from her just barely clears the line as well, but still, it's good enough. No, it was on the line, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Rybakina is not, but what will the umpire say? Yeah, she says that it's on the line, and I can't see it clearly now, but I would have to agree. I think just from the first feed, from the first time it was shown, so not on a replay, but just live, it definitely looked in. Rybakina is not agreeing with the call, but she's not going to change the umpire's decision at this point. A couple of contentious line calls in a row, but I do think that I do think that this time the umpires got it right. There's a replay, and yeah, it looks like it has to be in. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Maybe Rybakina was showing another. I'm thinking that it's another mark or something, but there's really no doubt about it. Anyway, still 30-all, so she has an opportunity to break, but will she be able to do it? Oh, wow. That's a really nice shot from Rybakina, but the point is still going, and Ostapenko finds like a crazy bucket down the line. After all of this, what happened in this shot in this rally to go for this is kind of crazy, but well, that's her. Anyway, she sent Rybakina moving, like stretched her out wide to the forehand corner. And you can kind of see the difference also between them in that sense that when Ostapenko got a ball like that, she was just nowhere close ever playing it in. And Rybakina was able to produce a fantastic counter, but yeah, still lost the point. But it very easily could have gone the other way with Ostapenko just trying to go for a crazy backhand down the line too. But yeah, it went. It went in. Has this anything? Yeah, I'm trying to read up on the chat now. Ghost Tortilla. Yes. Have you ever given or received a high five? Yeah, definitely. I think I have. I think Ryba moves better than Badosa, so I suspect Penko's angles will be less effective in this match. Yeah, I think maybe Rybakina Badosa, it's kind of close, but they definitely both move better than Ostapenko, right? But yeah, just now that forehand counter that Rybakina played on the run, it was really telling of how much she is able to do from a position like this compared to the Latvian, maybe to Badosa as well. What else? The particular aspect of clay is so annoying. Why can't they just get the lines right? Yeah, but then again, like if you go out and play on a clay court, I was actually playing tennis today on the clay court, and there are a lot of calls that I'm not really sure about. So I can understand it, you know. But of course, it also comes from the fact that when you're playing just by yourself, you're only gonna wipe the court every hour or so, right? And when you're playing professional tennis, there's going to be less marks on the lines. So that's basically it makes it a lot easier. And I kind of agree that there are a lot of cases when the umpires seem to get it wrong. But yeah, it's also tricky a lot of the time. And what else? And Matthew says that the last game had some incredible striking. Definitely agree. Especially that point at 30 goal was just insane. But I guess if you're starting to watch, well, if your plan is to watch a match between Rybakina and Ostapenko, then you kind of know it. But yeah, so far they are bringing it definitely. Ostapenko just lost that opening game, but it's not like she has started poorly or something. And she wins this backhand cross-court exchange with Rybakina now. I think she got like a pretty good short angle there, and I guess that maybe lost the Wimbledon champ a little bit. She had to move into the ball, did not make one or two steps required. So love 15 as Ostapenko tries to get back into the set here. Still, of course, a long way to go, but just with someone like Rybakina, I guess you can never really be sure if you're going to have more opportunities to break back. Of course, Rybakina easily could have been out in the second round, right? But maybe we saw a bit of a display of why it's especially important to like close out matches on the first possible opportunity. With Świątek and Rybakina, Świątek leading like what was it, like 6-2, 4-2, something like this, not closing it out and then getting injured. So I mean, it's not clear when exactly, I guess, the injury took place, but yeah, so far maybe Ostapenko not connecting as that much on these first serve returns. We'll see what's going to happen if she ever does, but she just lost the last 2 points with pretty wild unforced errors. Well, this one wasn't unforced, but she was like really just trying to blast the return. So I guess in a way, maybe it was. That serve, I would say, was out, and yeah, Ostapenko confirms that, and there's going to be a second one from the Wimbledon champ. Again, I don't want to say the Kazakh because, well, she's representing Kazakhstan. There's this like in Polish, there's this phrase you can use, which is reprezentantka Kazakhstanu, which basically means that she represents Kazakhstan. And I guess in English, there's maybe not really like the Kazakhstan representative that That's kind of what it means, but it would be more like in diplomacy or something, right? So it's I don't think it's really used in the sports context. So I'm just gonna keep saying Wimbledon champ instead of the nationality whenever I want to avoid saying Rybakina twice. Another forehand cross-court and first error from Ostapenko. I think we've had a couple in this game already, and also that forced return error was also that way exactly. Rybakina getting a couple of cheap points there to avoid some danger, and she has the opportunity to go up 3-1, and this is an ace out wide. So yeah, good start from Rybakina so far. Not Ostapenko not really getting any opportunities on return yet, but yeah, that's I guess what we were expecting, with Rybakina just getting a bit of an easier time holding, even in these Rome conditions, even after the rain. Her serve is definitely looking quite sublime so far. Let's see if Ostapenko can also get a few good shorter rallies on serve now. That really good return from Rybakina, provided how good Ostapenko's serve was, kept her in the point, but just a very clinical finish from the Latvian, this half volley-ish backhand cross-court, and then a repeat in the same direction, just blasting it and actually going for some pretty big targets for his standards, I suppose. Now she's, I think, complaining about the bounce. She was trying to go for another one of these half volley-ish backhands. So if you catch a bad bounce on one of these, it's gonna be hard to survive for sure. Another backhand crouch that she misses. I don't think the bounce was wrong or poor in this one, though. I think that one's purely on her. But a good return from Rybakina, regardless. The depth and the pace on it just really caught Ostapenko off guard, it seems. And again, when Ostapenko is throwing in her first serve, it's just not really giving her the point. It's not nowhere near enough, actually. So that's been the problem for her so far. And Rybakina wins another point by just hitting with some very good depth. The ball lands on the line. Ostapenko cannot control it. Rybakina even says sorry because it landed on the line. It kind of slipped on it, but well, that's just natural, right? Anyway, Ostapenko saves the first breakpoint with a decent serve at the body. She's going to have to save another one on her second serve. This is the ad side where Rybakina was previously going for these big cross-court backhand returns. And she was given a bit of an opportunity to go at it again. Just very conventional from Ostapenko on that second serve. This time, actually, Rybakina chose another direction, and Ostapenko's forehand leaked again when she was trying to go hard cross-court. So 4-1 Rybakina right now, and this is going for her just as well as I think it could have been going so far. Yeah, Ghosty, I'm actually unable to do that. I don't know how to put on the scoreboard. John is like here, but in the background, but I don't think he actually is here. And yeah, it's from his computer that you see this scoreline. And I think you actually see a touch of the Ostapenko Rybakina scoreboard where it says 4-1, right? It would just have to be moved a little bit. But the person who's actually like in charge of this scoreboard is John, and I'm not sure if he's here at the moment. So I could try texting him maybe. That would be okay, I suppose. Later on, we might be joined by Mario as well. I'm not sure which hour exactly, but I know he couldn't do the beginning of the match. But said that he might join later. I will text John about that scoreboard and see if he's see if he can see if he's available. Yeah, but anyway, I'm also going to be back to this screen. Sorry, I'm just going to text John about this. Show the Ostapenko Rybakina match. Yes. Let's see if John will be available. What happened here? Penko is uncertain about this mark, and the umpire is going to go down. I'm not actually sure what's the course of action here because I'm not sure if there was a call initially. And the umpire is not agreeing with Ostapenko here, so there might be another dilemma debate. I will at the same time just read what was in the comments. Yeah, I agree that nationality is not really that important in tennis. Definitely not. Is Penko the hardest hitter in the WTA right now? I mean, technically, has anyone compared Saba and Penko's speed of the racket? Yeah, it's probably pretty hard to compare, right? Definitely like a bit more raw power, you would say, in Sabalenka, right? But at the same time, it could be that Ostapenko or like someone like Rybakina even produces more speed by just having more timing, I guess, just better timing, maybe. I don't know. I think when Ostapenko was winning Roland Garros 2017, right? There were all these stats that she was hitting harder than like Nadal or something. Of course, she's also hitting much flatter, so that's kind of the real reason behind it, rather than her being more powerful than Nadal, I suppose. But yeah, I think Ostapenko would definitely be close to topping that list. Rybakina dumped into her inner clay, Vedef. Yeah. I think John is here, so maybe he is actually trying to work out something with that. I'm not sure. Anyway, Rybakina forces out another error from Ostapenko, and yeah, that weight of shot of Rybakina is definitely, and the depth as well that she's been getting is definitely holding off Ostapenko's ideas so far, and just holding off her ability to overwhelm the opponent with that power that Ghosty was talking about. That's a very nice lob from the Latvian, though. The return was a bit accidental, but eventually, when it came to the crunch, she was able to produce. I think I managed to read most of the comments. Hopefully we will have some. Yeah, hopefully we will have some clarity with the scoreboard soon, if that's possible. If not, then we're just gonna have to manage just manage without it. But as I said, you can actually see the scoreboard on the screen. It's just that 4-1 column, not the actual 6-1. So you can see the scoreboard. You just don't see the player names. So it's not a big problem, I think. Anyway. Anyway, game point Rybakina. Let's see what Ostapenko does with this return, and she actually managed to run around it and blast it at the feet of her opponent. Brooksby, Matthew is talking about Brooksby, second wrist surgery. I don't know. I mean, I have not read that Craig Shapiro insinuation. He is kind of prone, I would say, to insinuating stuff. Often, I think, without actually knowing that. But I don't know. I would have to read about it. But secondary surgery. Yeah, that's kind of unlucky. We have not seen him this year since the Australian Open, right? Something like that. I would say no, or did he play like Del Rey or something? No, Australian Open was the last appearance. Of course, there he actually had a very good win over Casper Ruud in the second round, which especially in the Australian Open conditions was made very possible with that, how much the court favored flat hitters and kind of took away most of Ruud's assets, but still an excellent match from the American. He actually has a 5-2 record this year, so 72% win rate. That would be quite excellent, but naturally it's just been 2 events, and hopefully he is going to be back as soon as possible. But at this stage, it certainly looks like it might be quite a long while. Yeah, anyway, Ostapenko is really in trouble by now. 5-1 as 5-1 and love 15 down as well in that opening game of the in that 7th game of the first set. I actually had to count. Pretty great drive volley though. Risky stuff, but we've gotten used to this. They're showing someone on the screen, and I'm pretty sure I know who that is, but I can't really place that face in my memory. I'm pretty sure I know who that is, but yeah, just can't place it. A woman, it was, but that's all I can say. Anyway, huge first serve from Ostapenko this time to down the tee. This is one of the rare occasions so far where I think she got a free point out of it. Most of the time the returns are coming back, and often even with interest. Is this set gone anyway? You would think so, but we'll see. Risky second serve from the Latvian, and it does not make the line. She is, of course, as usual, trying to look at it, but we saw the mark. It was actually quite far off. But Ostapenko is definitely one of the players who are most likely to argue about line calls. All white people look the same to you, huh, Damien? Who said that she was white? But she was actually. But yeah. Anyway, nice +1 forehand from Ostapenko. I don't know if she had to go this huge, but she did, and it clips the line. So a game point here, but as I said earlier, you kind of think that the set is gone by now. But maybe she could just kickstart her rhythm a little better. And did she make it? I don't think she did. There's a drop shot from Ostapenko, which I guess is something you don't necessarily see every day. And Rybakina goes on a good sprint, barely plays it out. Regardless, was there anything? Ghosty says there aren't a lot of tall guys with good movement, including Delpo. Medi's fairly swift of foot. Yeah, this is actually something that has changed over the years, right? Because back in the day, being tall was definitely a disadvantage, and now you have all these guys like Medvedev, Zverev, Hurkacz, who are basically counter punching behind the baseline. And in the past, it used to be, it was thought that this is impossible. It was just thought that this is next to impossible to play a style like this while being almost 2 meters tall. Of course, the standards have changed. Now people who are almost 2 meters tall, they actually move well. They are some of the best defenders in the game. So I guess this is just something that changed with, I'm not even sure with what, maybe with the advancement of technology, I don't know, with like shoes or something. No, that's not it, right? I don't know why taller people, the society as a whole kind of got a lot taller, right? People being like 1.80 m like me. So like, what is it even? 5'11", I don't know. I guess would in the past be very tall. Right now, I'm probably below average height at least in my age group, right? So the standards have changed. They have evolved. The society, the humans as a species have evolved, and I guess that's maybe what made it possible. That players who are now almost 2 meters tall, that they actually move well at the same time. They're not Kevin Anderson anymore. Of course, I'm not really talking about Opelka and Opelka and Isner Karlovic, because that's a very extreme example. But yeah, like Anderson, Delpo even. Guys like Medvedev, Zverev, Hurkacz, they just really are among the best movers in the game while also being very tall, which is a huge advantage, to have that serve, to have that possibility to play attacking tennis, even if most of them actually aren't using it for that reason or another. But and also at the same time move so well. I guess on the women's side, you could kind of look at Pliskova and maybe someone like Rybakina. I think Pliskova is a little taller, but still, they are in a similar zone, I would say, and they are in a similar percentile or something. Medi is the first super tall guy who moves very well, says Sean. But yeah, Zverev and Hurkacz, I would say, they're definitely in there too. Yeah, Kevin Anderson actually had a real baseline game, right? Though, even though his movement was like super, just unnerving even to look at sometimes. He actually had a real baseline game, and he was able to work it out. Of course, with Isner, it's just much tougher, but there's also like 10 centimeters or something between the two, if so, around this level probably. Delpo, I think, is he still the tallest player ever to win a slam? I think he is, right? Or is Medvedev a bit higher? I'm not sure. Okay, I mean Google says they're the same, so I guess Medvedev and Del Potro are the tallest players ever to win a slam. Anyway, 30-all, can Ostapenko still look for a break in this set and maybe try to make it competitive? Not if Rybakina is playing like this, just throwing her around from corner to corner and finding perfect precision on the back and down the line. I'm reading that Backstreet Boys, the star from Backstreet Boys, Nick Carter, is going to join. Interestingly, I did not know that we are going to have such celebrities here, but of course I will welcome it. Or maybe Nick Carter was from no, he was from Backstreet Boys, right? He wasn't from NSYNC. Is there really a Nick Carter single, As Long As You Love Me? I do not know what Nick Carter was doing in his solo career. If you didn't Google that, that's pretty fine. Become a Stan. That kind of sounds like an Eminem reference or something. Anyway. And also there was a question about Karlovic. No one really knows what he's doing. Last year he won a 40, a Bundesliga 40 plus with some other great retired players. I think he was the main attraction there, but still, the names were pretty iconic. And I guess he's just enjoying family life, right? That at the end of his playing days, he was always saying that he is. If he's going to retire, it's mostly to spend more time with his family. I think he's living in the States, and at the end of his career, he was mostly playing in the States. And yeah, I guess that's simply what he's doing. It's a shame we haven't had any actual announcement, but I think at this point we can start counting him as retired. It's basically been enough, right? I mean, it's. When did he play last? Indian Wells 2021 in that October edition, or was it October, September? Oh, sorry, I touched my mic and I think it might have given you a bit of a sound. Anyway, yeah, I think it was the October edition of Indian Wells. So yeah, long while ago. And Rybakina hits an ace to give her this third set point. Ostapenko saved the previous two with some great shots, but of course she's still very, very far away from Rybakina in this set. 5-2 up, the Wimbledon champ is. But a very deep return sets Ostapenko in the position to win this point. And she does it indeed, very close to the line on the forehand as well, but the drive volley was just pretty routine. Yep. Anyway, 5-2 deuce. Nick is here, I think, so I will have to find my earphones. Do you hear like any echo now?
No, I don't hear an echo.
Oh, I will find the earphones anyway, just in case someone will. But I will do that in. Actually, I have them on my desk. That's helpful.
We're all good. Hello, wonderful talking tennis people. I am sorry I'm late. Rybakina is having some trouble closing out this game. I have to admit, I only turned the television on at 4-1 Rybakina. So I'm assuming she just sort of ran away with it, and Ostapenko's level has slowly started to raise up. But that's my assumption based on the score and not actually seeing any tennis.
For me, it's like mostly been the fact that Rybakina gets so many free points from her serve, Ostapenko not necessarily. And like, we all know the kind of tennis that Ostapenko likes to play. And I guess against someone who just hits a pretty big ball herself, right? I mean, and especially with the depth that she's been finding, Rybakina, it's just pretty hard for Ostapenko to overwhelm her, I think. And of course, when she's on the move, it's rough. It's rough. So I think it's mostly more like being a bit of a matchup issue than so far, rather than anything else. I wouldn't say her quality has like been higher or lower at the beginning of the set.
Okay.
Certainly hasn't really like anything that could have gone Rybakina's way. I think in this set, it has gone her way. But yeah, I guess just the key for the second set will be to try holding to, for Ostapenko to try to hold on to her serve, because that's been a big issue. Besides this game, she hasn't really had any major inroads in Rybakina's games, and of course that's like one big difference between them, I think. I am a bit surprised with how easy it was going. I've said many of these like very similar things before the match started, but I did not think it was going to be as important. Still, Ostapenko is theoretically like the more competent, more efficient clay player, right?
Yeah. Yes, I'd say on paper, agree with that. Ostapenko definitely has the better pedigree on the surface, and obviously her game is, as you say, less serve dependent, which surprises me a little bit given her reputation as a big hitter. You would think the serve would be included in that as well, but that's not the case. Or at least she doesn't get many free points off of it.
I either lost you there or you lost me there. I'm not sure. Someone's internet is not working. I think it could be yours because my camera is working. Yours is not. But in case it's me who's, in case it's mine, sorry, but I don't think it is. Maybe Nick will be back with us in a second. We definitely have to ask Nick to sing us a Backstreet Boys song. Yes, 100%. Max was also wondering whether the Backstreet Boys are more well-known than NSYNC. I would say so, I think, but it's not that, it's not that much of a difference, right? I think both are definitely like the two boy bands that people think about. Does Boys to Men count as a boy band? I guess they do, right? I don't know. No, I wouldn't say they're a boy band, right? They're like a vocal, I don't know, vocal group. I don't know if that makes sense. Harmony, something. So I wouldn't count them. So yeah, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Anyway, Rybakina clinches the first set. It took a while, but of course she had that one break still that she could have used in order to just clinch the set, even if she lost this game. So 6-2 after 42 minutes. If the last game wasn't so long, it would have been much shorter, and it actually would have reflected what has been happening in this match a bit more, I think, because it really has been a 6-2 set in terms of how it's been played out. And I guess the best way for Ostapenko to restart herself here would just be to hold. She's going to be the first. She's going to be the one with the scoreboard advantage in the second set, and she cannot allow herself to start it with a deficit already. Then just hope that she's going to get a game like this one before, and like this one just now, and find the break. Nick has disappeared off the screen, so it's definitely his internet that was malfunctioning. Don't mind. But he is joining us again, I see. And he is going to be here in a second. Hello, Nick. Hello again.
I'm so sorry. There may be some internet problems. Usually my English internet is good enough to keep me ahead of the game in the tennis, but it is failing me today, so apologies if I do drop out.
What are the characteristics of English internet? How does it differ from
I have no idea, to be honest. I'm just, from observation of being on these streams, it's generally, it's generally ahead of everyone else except Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I may have been like a point or two ahead of you when I was coming into the stream.
That's not good. I have a way to watch streams that are basically have zero lag, but it seems to be just malfunctioning today. So I might have to stay on this little late stream, but well, we're gonna figure it out somehow. Maybe soon we're also gonna get a third co-commentator, and then it's gonna just be wild completely, and everyone is gonna have a stream on a different point. But that's how it is. Unless the tournament in Rome is just gonna give us the permission to show a stream, which they would never do. I mean, it wouldn't be the tournament even, right? It would be like the providers and whatever.
I mean, look, I'd be grateful to them, but I also question their decision making.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, my way to watch no lag, no delay streams is still not working, so I will have to stay on this.
That's fine. I'll just keep the score updates as well if you like, just if it's easier, because I'm working from my laptop. Looks like Rybakina's has had some kind of treatment maybe, or she was talking to the physio.
Yeah, Penko was in the bathroom and she's coming back. So
okay, trying to reset the momentum a little bit. I mean, that was a hard fought end of set from Rybakina. I suspect the second set may not be as might not be as straightforward for the Kazakh. I do think the most interesting final in terms of a matchup against Kalinina would be Rybakina, though.
Why would it be more interesting than Ostapenko?
I think that I think Ostapenko could potentially blast Kalinina off the court. We know what her record like in finals. Kalinina is going to be nervous. I feel like Kalinina is probably, whereas Rybakina's clay court caliber, as we've said, is high, but not as high as Ostapenko, and also kind of a display of really flat ground strokes from both of them could be on a clay court final would be quite interesting.
I think both are kind of similar in how they would play out, probably.
I think I'm more thinking which one does Kalinina have the best chance of getting the most games off? And Ostapenko will probably depend on how much she self-destructs.
Yeah, and that's what I think could make it tricky, and that's what I think could make it more exciting, possibly, just because she would have to really, well, depending on how nervous Kalinina will be, but she might just have to really be stay honest and just try to keep her ability to self-destruct in place. So I don't know. I think it would be a bit more interesting to me, but so far it's not looking like we're gonna get Ostapenko Kalina. Love 30 in that first service game of the second set.
Oh, love 30. Okay, you are ahead of me now.
I am ahead. Interesting.
But I will. Do you want to just see? Maybe my stream's lagged be due to my own connection.
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mario, you right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're eating. Never mind. Yeah.
Tell me. Yeah, I mean, I can understand by the score since I wasn't watching, to be honest, till now. What are you watching so far in this semifinal?
I think Damien can answer that better than I can because I've barely seen much of it.
Yeah, I've already brought Nick up to speed. Now I'm gonna bring Mario up to speed as well. Basically, like Ostapenko fell a couple of breaks very early. She is not getting as many free points on serve, which you'd kind of expect. Rybakina is able to do a lot more for sure, like when she's stretched to the side, which also you would expect with Ostapenko's movement and fitness perhaps not being at the highest point it's ever been. And yeah, I just think it's a pretty tough matchup for Ostapenko if Rybakina is hitting like she has been, so like super deep, with a lot of pace as well. Ostapenko probably likes to play someone who's like either a defender or maybe someone who has something you can attack. And Rybakina hasn't really shown anything. I was sort of expecting that maybe Ostapenko will show us a weak spot in Rybakina, that she's going to show us a wing or a shot or a direction you can attack. Yeah. And so far it hasn't really happened. So yeah, I just think it's pretty tough to overwhelm Rybakina when she's hitting so deep. But maybe it's gonna, maybe the
and also I think that
maybe it's gonna change.
That Rybakina is a really great mover, considering how she is physically. And that's what makes her really, really tough. I mean, Ostapenko always does so much physically in singles, doubles every single week. I don't know if this can affect a little bit in the later stages of the event, especially this one with some rain delays.
I don't know, but there's definitely a big difference between like when they're stretched to the side, when they have to be on the move. It's just not even close, right? Rybakina is still able to produce like a good counter out of it, and Ostapenko is just usually gonna hit a forced error. She did get the first point in the second game though, but now has a pretty funny reaction to how she attempted to hit that second return.
Gusty, I'll be total honest, and I see no reason why Rybakina cannot play on any kind of surface, to be honest. I find her tennis really, of course, there can be some kind of courts in which she's, I mean, her tennis is more on point, probably, but I think that with her shots and with also the ability of move quite well. That serve on clay, the kick serve, she has that serve which can pay a lot, in my opinion. I see why she's having success on clay in Rome. She was also a quarter finalist in Roland Garros 2021, I think.
Yeah, beat Serena. And she won her first WTA Tour title on clay. So I'm not surprised that she's this far in. I think the only reason I'm surprised is because she beat Swiatek. I would have thought Swiatek had the advantage in these conditions. Oh, she was winning that match if she hadn't been injured.
Yeah, exactly. So
she should have won.
Did she beat her?
Yeah. But the only reason she's here is because Swiatek was injured. But I am not surprised she made the quarters, and that's still a decent result.
6-4 to up, right? I think Swiatek was, and of course, even when she retired in the third set, it was still even in the on the scoreboard. So
she has an amazing return. and the reaction was so funny by Ostapenko. Yeah,
Yeah,
She
as
just
Ghosty said
like
in the chat.
shrugs.
As Ghosty said
hit
in the
an
chat, right?
absolutely phenomenal shot, but
This
the
one.
reaction was, "I'm so stupid. Why not before?" But
Did she find the line? She did, I think.
She did. She's broken.
Yeah.
Ostapenko
okay,
had broken
fine.
early in
Way
the set.
ahead. Sorry.
Another great reaction, just
Yeah, that's what I was talking. Yeah,
So that was the return you were mentioning. Okay.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
way behind, way ahead. Sorry,
Way ahead, way
way
ahead.
ahead.
And by the way, regarding Rybakina and slow clay, like if you asked me before this clay swing, definitely I would have said that I would expect more from her in Stuttgart or Madrid. But you are quite right that like she has had a lot of success. Paris quarters, which you mentioned, and that Bucharest title and Strasbourg final, but also in Rome actually. She played it twice, and both times she
Yeah.
made the round of 16 as well. So
Okay.
it's not the first time. Maybe these previous rounds didn't really have like a standout win. I'm actually checking it right now. Sorry, Buskova Alexandrova and then Davis Avanesian. So no standout wins, but still, she has been winning matches. She has been also close to winning the matches that she lost to Putintseva and Teichmann. Of course, this year she has made so much progress, and it hasn't really been the first time. I think the one that really surprised me here, because as you said, I don't think she was beating Świątek, if not for the thigh injury, if not for some issues closing out as well in the second set. It's kind of unclear when the thigh injury started becoming so started impacting her that much that it could have also hampered her maybe from closing it out at 6-2 4-2. But she also got a great win over Vondroushova, which in Rome I did not really expect. It would be one where in Madrid I would be saying okay, that's fair, but Rome, that was
Book is
quite a surprise to me.
so Vondrousova is the favorite in that one.
Yeah,
I
and
saw.
I fully agreed with this. Actually, Vondroushova has had
Same.
like some crazy odds recently, right? Because she is so underranked, and I think
Yeah,
everyone is struggling to figure out where she actually stands. So in Madrid, she lost to Linette while being like a massive favorite. And here also, she was the favorite against Sakari. She was a massive favorite against Andrescu and lost one game, which I guess it kind of shows that it was right. But definitely, I've noticed that everyone is struggling to understand where exactly to put Vondroushova. Of course, maybe we'll have a better feeling about this when October comes, and last year she was injured between what was it, April to October or something like this. So I guess by October we're actually going to have her in the rankings with 12 months of play, not with 7 right, as it is right now. But it's a bit of a funny conundrum,
yeah. I mean,
whatever.
it's kind of a similar story as Bunkova.
Should I add Nick to the stream or not? I'm not sure, because if he's taken himself out, or there's something in the chat maybe. Okay. He's gonna take a break. So Nick is gonna be with us in some time. Anyway, we've got Ostapenko now with 3 love up in the second set. So hopefully Mario, you're gonna see a couple of sets.
It's kind of a classic Ostapenko score right now.
Before you joined, I think I said that Ostapenko might lose this first set with a bagel, and then she might bagel Rybakina in the second. It wouldn't be anything that surprises us.
But she today not as in the quarterfinals for sure, because Rybakina is way more, I think. But also is playing well, but Rybakina is just at another level right now, in my opinion. But talking about that match, Ostapenko seems 90% of the time that she's going to decide how the match is going. Of course, for her tennis style. But now the pass is in, so love 15. Now you'll see it. And I'm going to shut up for some seconds.
No worry.
Because we have
we
in Italy we have WTA on the public TV, all the WTA events, and so I'm not on the stream. That's why I.
That would make sense. In Poland, Canal Plus Sport does this, but I actually have never had this. There's mostly like 2 huge cable providers in Poland, and we've always had the other one, Cyfrowy Polsat. So So I actually don't have WTA TV on. WTA on my TV at all. So I do have to use streams, even though I'm actually at my parents' house right now. So I do have access to a TV, but it's not gonna have the Rome event on it. It could be helpful if we do the stream for the Rome final on the men's side, because then I would be able to have it.
It's the opposite. No, for the Rome final, I have it because since it's the Rome event, even the ATP they show it. But for the ATP matches, we don't have this.
That's interesting. Why is that? Is like women's tennis more popular in Italy simply?
No, but men's tennis is brought by Sky, and so if you have Sky, you can watch it if you pay for it, or if you have tennis TV, it's basically the same. While WTA, we have like a federational channel, which is free. If you have a TV in Italy, you have the channel, and we see all the WTA events, and also ATP 250 and 500s, really, not 1000. But we're going to have the US Open.
Nice. And what do you think about Ghosty's hot take? Penko is replacing Krejcikova as the potential fourth in the big four of the WTA. I guess I know a person, and his name is John Silk, who would probably not agree because he's like always speaking Krejcikova to do well in every event. But I don't know how serious that hot take actually is. But like theoretically, it's possible, right? Like,
theoretically possible, but we know Ostapenko's stories. I mean, if there's not a really change in her consistency in terms of her level in week after week after week, it's going to be difficult. But for sure, you'll never want to play her. Any tournament, every round, I'd hate to play against her because you have
you feel like you have no control over the result at all.
Right? No control. You're kind of you have to do what you can do, but you know that from the other side of the net you can there's always a question mark, and she's going to decide how the point goes. But Rybakina's level sets also dropped in the second set. Now you're going to watch a doable return. On love 15, she could have love 15 second serve. She should have at least.
My team, Penko is prepping for that second serve, so I will see it in like 3 seconds. But actually, she still like catches the ball for the second time, retosses it. But indeed, she was actually going for this kind of return a lot in the opening set, and it gave her a couple of like the first break, I think, when Penko was just like very conventionally serving, cross court to her backhand, and then Rybakina goes cross with it. And I think the first break she actually got on a return like this, and then on the second break she surprised Ostapenko exactly the same serve, but she just went down the line with it and forced out an error. But this is the kind of return that kind of won Ostapenko the first set in a way.
Yeah, no, of course. And I also think that
Rybakina. I said Ostapenko.
You're right. Not talking about the unforced errors, which sometimes are quite a lot from Ostapenko. I think that the thing that she could have tried to improve a little more is the serve. I think that given her shots, her forehand, backhand, how well she can do when she's on, I think that the serve is, for example, a big difference between these two players.
Yeah, and what do we think about this? Matthew says, if Medi wins tomorrow, does he make your top 4 favorite list for Roland Garros? So Medvedev is playing Tsitsipas tomorrow, right? I'm right about this.
Yeah.
if he wins tomorrow, does he make your top 4 favorite list for RG? I actually have some like battle scars with this, because last year when who was it that went out? Tsitsipas went out to Rune, I think, and I made this tweet that that Medvedev is like my favorite to win to reach the final now from that.
Yeah, but Medvedev went out before.
No, so maybe it wasn't Tsitsipas. Maybe it was
Medvedev went out in round 3 against Cilic, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
No,
it was
round 4 was.
round
No,
4.
yeah, you're right, because round 4 for both. And Medvedev
Yeah.
played in the evening.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
there was a time in which Medvedev was the last one.
Yes,
last
and I
man
made
standing.
this tweet. I
Sorry,
made this tweet
you're
that he's
right.
gonna make the final.
Because
I
in
made
round
this
3
tweet
he
that
played
he was the
Kecmanovic,
favorite.
I think. Medvedev played that good match against Kecmanovic in round 3.
Precisely,
And
then, he was doing well in Paris for the second year in a row, and
yeah,
I was like,
you're
how
right.
is he not your favorite to make the final? And then he loses to Cilic, like
Yeah,
just
no, you're right.
gets dominated, and it was really funny, because there my prediction was just or prediction, I don't know, just what I said was just very quickly
Yeah, no, I mean,
proven completely wrong.
The only thing that still will make myself doubting a little bit if he wins tomorrow is the fact that I mean, if he wins the title, let's say that he wins the Rome title, it's 6 matches, best of 3. I don't know, still the effort is a little less, probably. Yeah, of course, he has a high confidence right now. With imagine that even if he doesn't win the title, he beats Tsitsipas, which is one of the top 4 clay court players, and at least in the past 2-3 years, actually since 2019, I think. His confidence, and he shows that his level is very, very high, even because Tsitsipas yesterday, for example, played a very, very good match. But I don't know. I still think that the Grand Slam is a lot of more in terms of the mental and the physical effort, and even if he's getting better on clay, especially mentally, I still don't know that if he's super ready to play. I don't know, 4 sets in quarterfinals and 5 sets in semifinals, and on that clay. I don't know, but I still have a little bit of a doubt.
Yeah, Sean gave his list, and I would actually agree with this. I maybe would put Djokovic over Rune, even though he's just beaten him. Just best of 5, French Open. I would still probably favor Nole there, but I think that if Medvedev would beat Tsitsipas tomorrow, there's definitely like something that just would make me think whether he maybe can be higher on my list than the Greek. Of course, he has beaten him on clay before, 2019.
Yeah,
but,
one all
match
is the head to head. 1-1 is the
yeah, 1-1. But 2 years ago at Roland Garros, it was pretty simple for Steph. Well, maybe one of the sets was like super competitive out of the 3 that they played. Still, it was a straight set victory. And if he beats him tomorrow, then maybe I can start thinking about it, whether the 4th favorite is Medvedev or Tsitsipas. But for me right now, it would be...
I know about Tsitsipas, but I'm struggling to see him really, really close to the first 3 names, even if he's better than the latter names, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's why I would start thinking maybe whether Medvedev is going to be higher for me than Tsitsipas rather than Rune. Like my list right now would be Alcaraz, Djokovic, Rune, Tsitsipas. Tomorrow, if Medvedev wins, we can start the discussion, I think. Yeah, sure. If he wins tomorrow, it's a discussion. Right now, it's not. But if he wins tomorrow, if Tsitsipas is like still, if it just gets maybe proven that Tsitsipas is like still not in that at the point where he could win an event like this, I think we can start the debate.
Yeah, you're right. And if Medvedev wins the title, it's going to be messy again with the draw, because if Medvedev wins in Rome, he's going to be number 2 seed. Yeah, I mean, still two very, very tough matches because no, I mean, if he beats Tsitsipas somehow, probably he's not going to be the underdog in the final. Then I don't know. I'd say that I'm really, really interested to watch the both matches tomorrow.
Kosti says, what about Struff, Hanfman, Serundol, and Marosha?
Yeah, so
No
we are
translate.
we're basically doing the ATP show.
Yeah, kind of true. We should be talking more about the match. I'll just say, all of these, they don't really have the most repeatable game plans. Struff just played a terrible match today against Etcheverry. Maroshan is like one of the most aggressive players on tour. Maybe not necessarily raw pace, but like the timing. And I don't know. They can win some rounds, but it's not like they're going to be a given against almost any opponents at the French, like Bering, Patrick Gibson, or Giovanni Pericard, or something like that, right? So, I wouldn't really say that either is a good contender, like just right now, without the draw to make a deep run. If we see the draw and they have a nice opening, then maybe. But Mario is right.
I'm not really understanding if you mean in terms of the final or the title. No, I'm thinking about success is
sure
kind of fourth round.
Yeah, probably quarters, fourth round.
Yeah, fourth round. I can see, for example, given also the seeds he has. For example, I can see Cerundolo reaching the round 4 because it basically means that he needs to do one upset. Then of course it depends on the draw, and of course,
in some cases it wouldn't even be an upset, right? If he's playing like where Cerundolo will be in terms of the
he's going to be
18. No, sorry, I'm looking at the ATP race, not the ATP ranking. I am an idiot. Anyway, he is like 28. Okay, so he would be the top 8 seeds. The top 8 seeds, basically. That's what he's going to play. So yeah, actually, all of them would be an upset. Scratch that. Scratch what I just said. Anyway,
for example, I can see him beating. I mean, Rublev, for example. It depends on the day. He
still everything like would be an upset still, because I thought the 9-16 guys, and then like him against Hurkacz, that would be very doable, etc. But anyway, I think Mario, you were quite right. We should be talking more about the WTA.
Yeah, you're right. We have a little bit done this kind of speech because the play was stopped for like 5 minutes.
I guess we just sort of started talking about some other things because Ostapenko went up 3-love, and we just sort of assumed that she would just
bagel Rybakina in the second set.
that the set is done. Of course, it's not really that clear. She actually was in a bit of trouble a couple of games earlier, but right now it just looks like Rybakina will close out this game and be 2-4 down. So Ostapenko just should be very soon 2 holes away from taking the set and taking us to a decider. Nick is also back with us. Still hasn't sung today, but I know some people in the chat are waiting for it.
I don't know how I got this reputation.
No, actually, it's very clear how you got this reputation. Do you know what your surname is, and do you know what your first name is? Yes, that's how you got this reputation.
I'm
Nick
not
is
drunk
like
enough tonight for that to happen.
Came back home, and we are now just totally quiet and starting to watch more WTA.
How dare you?
By the way, I don't know if you have seen the Zachary joke on Twitter.
Yeah, I started the show with it actually, but I think Nick wasn't there, so you can ask him if he has seen it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, so you can tell that to Nick, and I will go grab myself some water.
Goodbye. Just some user on Twitter. I think Kudermetova has lost her 8th straight semifinal, and someone on Twitter has made like 0-8 in the last 8 semifinal, and the gif of Kudermetova. And a user have quoted the tweet mentioning Sakari and telling her she's coming for you. And Sakari answered to the tweet and said, I'm unbeatable.
Yes. Oh, good grief. Do you know what we need to see? We need to see a Kudermetova versus Sakari semi-final.
That's going to be big. They're stopping, by the way.
Ooh, should really? Yeah, I mean, because of the rain, I think that they're talking about.
Is it actually raining?
Ostapenko wants to play.
Yeah.
Ostapenko is like saying it's perfect.
Of course he does.
But Rybakina has already said and said like, I'm not going to play anymore here.
Ostapenko's arguing.
Yeah, Ostapenko was like, it's perfect. The court is perfect.
I think what we're going to do here, like, is if they are staying on the court, then we're also going to stay, right? But if they leave, then we take a break and see what's going to happen later. But yeah, I think as long as they are on the court, so like there's a chance of them being back.
I don't really know. To be honest.
I mean, so far Rybakina is just sitting. She isn't packing her stuff, so I think they're waiting for now.
They obviously think it's going to be a small shower. I mean, Italy's been pretty badly hit by poor weather recently.
Yeah, it seems like today it's actually like all been rained off. Turin, the semifinals are going to be tomorrow, and the final. Florence was kept getting delayed. They actually started playing later, but I guess maybe that just means that it was in Florence, it was in Turin, and now it went down. Went south to Rome, I suppose. But of course, yeah, the whole week has been weird. Actually, in Turin, I don't think there's been that many issues besides today, of course, which was completely rained off. I haven't been following Florence that much, but Rome certainly has been hit quite a lot. Is it true, Mario, by the way? Because I was talking to John before this stream, and he said that he knows some people from Rome, and they said that like one per every like 20 years is like this in May. That usually doesn't rain that much, and it's just scorching hot.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years is probably too much, but yeah, I remember the 2016 edition was like that. In fact, I remember that the semi-final day I had the ticket, and the semi-finals was played like on 3 courts at the same time because of the only 2 hours that it stopped raining. But it was a 1 week, so it's Saturday, and they had to play at all costs the semis. I mean, basically it's so even tomorrow because they haven't really used the fact that it's 2 weeks. Yeah, they were. I mean, they were. The original intention was to try to make the most of the weekend. In my opinion, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, but it's not like that usually. I mean, basically, yeah, there are rainy days sometimes because it's still May. Sometimes some kind of rain can come here and there during the tournament. But I mean, I've been there on Monday and Thursday. There were 2 sunny days, yeah. But since then, since Friday last week, it's always been rainy day. Even when there was no rain, there was no sun at all. And yeah, it's not that easy. And even Djokovic said that in the press conference, that he really didn't remember a so unlucky event in terms of the weather in Rome, because usually in May it's fine. It's not like if you go in Rome in July, but it doesn't rain as often. And but I don't know if you're watching what was happening in Emilia Romagna, in the northern of Italy.
Yes, well, I was aware of it. Yeah,
near Bologna,
25K?
Near Bologna, where they made the Davis Cup last year, near there.
But like what? That's isn't there like a 25K there this week? No, was that
Emilia Romagna?
The place called.
There was going to be a Formula One race there, but that's been cancelled because of the flooding.
Yeah, Reggio Emilia.
Reggio Emilia. Sorry, I was talking about Reggio Emilia. But there was a lot of rain there actually as well. Today they played the quarters and the semis. So
yeah, no, it's too much. It's too much in the north.
Okay.
But like literally near where they played the Davis Cup last year. Yeah, there have been, I'd say, quite a tragedy. A lot. I mean,
Mhm.
15 person died, and in the last 2 or 3 days, it's really been a real struggle. These 2 weeks in Italy, I really don't know what's happening. I guess, but okay, where I live, it's okay so far.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you're okay, Mario.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you're not coming to us with water around your ankles.
No. Don't worry. The players are going to
Yeah, they're
Oh,
packing
okay.
their
the
stuff
room,
and going
and
on the
I
court.
mean, it's.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's a huge probability that I'm being honest with you. There's a huge probability that they're going on court again tomorrow in the morning.
yeah, I actually, like, before the match started, the way it was looking, I even thought that maybe they weren't even going to start today. So that they still actually got a set and a half. I mean, we'll see, right? But I guess with them off the court, we should probably also.
Before we do that, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's been a bit of breaking news in the tennis world in the last 20 minutes. Simona Halep has been hit with another doping violation, a second one that's separate to the one from last year.
Oh, I have
Irregular
notifications on the ITIA, but I didn't even click it. But okay,
Yeah.
that is a breaking news. Yeah.
Yeah. So just for those who are watching, obviously, I know we'll probably have to disappear off anyway. But yeah, that's pretty damning. If there's a second one, like one
Irregularities in her athlete biological passport.
Yeah.
So it's like not the same, I suppose, based on
No,
an
it's the
assessment
same.
of her passport. Is separate, and in addition to the existing charge. Is there anything else that they really explain here? I don't think so. So I
No.
don't think they really say what exactly was wrong there. Yeah, they don't really say what exactly was wrong here, but that's of course just some terrible news for her, but it also doesn't make her look innocent. I don't know, how the whole thing is gonna pan out. I think this was around the time when she was supposed to have that hearing, right? Like
Yeah.
middle of May.
And end of May, possibly even, but they wouldn't do the outcome until the end of June, which would be too late for her to get into Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was going to be over the next month, but yeah, that's not going to help. I think one doping violation is could be unfortunate. It could be an unfortunate incident. A second one is definitely suspicious.
Yeah, irregularities in the passport. I guess it must mean that some of her test results, maybe in terms of the blood or something, was off. I don't know.
Maybe blood or urine. I don't know.
Yeah, something like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I am struggling to understand 100%.
Yeah, it's hard to say
what
they
clear.
actually mean. Yeah, there's no explanation of what was the irregularity. Ghosty says, does a rain delay help Penko or Ryba more? You would probably have to say that Rybakina, because Ostapenko was just flying pretty high in the second set. She's also going to have to serve when they come back, and usually that first game on serve is quite tricky, especially if it will be tomorrow. So I would say Rybakina, but it's not like it's really clear, but probably Rybakina.
I would say that Rybakina was definitely far more inconsistent in that second set. And definitely on the backhand side, particularly, much more unforced errors. This opportunity gives her a chance to kind of reset, get momentum back, help her find the way she was playing in set one. So yeah, I agree. I think Rybakina is going to be the one who benefits the most from this.
Play suspended due to rain, yes, but they haven't put on the covers yet. Is that good news? Slim pickings, I guess.
I mean, we could go offline for a bit and then pop back on when they come back on.
That's probably what we're gonna do, right? It makes no sense to sit here for maybe never even get back to it. Are they putting on the covers right now, or Are they just?
I don't know because my screen's not showing it. It's showing the Amazon Prime coverage with Catherine Whitaker talking to Tim Henman.
My screen is actually showing just some people working the court.
Okay.
But maybe once they finish that, then they're gonna put on the covers. I have no clue. Maybe you can stay on for like just one more minute and see what's happening. Because if they're just wiping the court and then it's gonna be maybe fine. Maybe they're preparing it for play. A lot of people are actually still in the stadium. So
I'm seeing. I've got shots of backstage here of Ostapenko talking to her team.
Me too.
Okay. And they're sweeping the court.
Yeah. So maybe that's a good sign.
Should we give it 5 minutes?
Yeah, because
I think we can. Yeah, like if they start putting on the covers, then we're going off, I think. But if they are just sweeping the court and then preparing it for play, I don't know. There was something else. Like Sean is saying, do they make it vague for us on purpose regarding the ITIA? I guess that's kind of how bureaucracy works in general, right? Like they make it vague so that no one is gonna sue them, and like no one is gonna say that they gave us too much info on. I guess maybe they are also obligated to like not give us too much info in regards to what was exactly wrong before they finish up the whole case. I don't know. I haven't seen an announcement like this that there were irregularities in the biological passport, so I can't really say if this one is similar to the previous ones because I haven't seen one.
I'm sure Simona Halep herself will put out a statement.
Oh yeah, probably will take care like a couple of days, but yeah, we should know more then.
Yeah, for me is difficult because I'm not really an expert about these doping cases, and I have to be fully honest. Also, it's as long as I speak, as I write, and it's also language is a little bit more complex and to read, and you have to be fully careful. So it's a bit early to me to say something
That's fair. More people should be like this, I think, because there's a lot of people who just say even though they don't know.
A quick Google of biological passport. So the biological passport is the kind of record of almost every test the athlete's done in a certain period. So irregularities would suggest that there's some interesting results or some missing results. That would probably be what I would suspect. So either that something interesting has come up or they've been missing tests.
And even worse for Halep, that kind of means I think that they will be like the whole case will last even longer, right? Because if there are some abnormalities, that's gonna take a while then to explain and to just get to talk about it with someone who is a specialist in this, and like it all takes a long it's such a long time, right? But
well, I know John usually watches these back, so note to John, see if we can get an interview with someone who works in or has worked in anti-doping, because that'd be a fascinating interview. With
Simona Halep, I thought you were gonna say.
No, well, we could get Simona Halep, great, but
probably won't work right now, I think. But
any tennis player.
Now I have some images of Rybakina's coach talking to her, and he is just as expressive as when he's sitting in the box.
Someone's got to be. My coverage is kind of cut away from the live pictures. They're showing interview with Anna-Helena Kalinina kind of post-match in the immediate aftermath.
We are doing. They are doing here some kind of studio in Italy. They say. They are just talking like we are doing right now, basically.
Pretty much, except that we can't show the match, so this is just this all the time.
They should be showing us on Italian TV. Mario and his international friends, they would call it. Anyway, it doesn't look like they're gonna cover the court, so the players. I mean, Ostapenko is walking somewhere. I hope it is to the court. And it is, I think. Let me see if she's actually entering it. I still can't see her, but the line umpires, the ball kids are on the court, and Ostapenko is as well, and Rybakina is also walking.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
it looks like we're going to be back in play in just a second. I wonder if it's going to be the full warm up, if it's been enough time. I don't actually remember the rules, so
I will amend the banner so it does no longer says player suspended. And we can get back to it. So Rybakina leading by a set, but Ostapenko up by a break in the second. 4-2.
But Ghosty, like Halep is not the only person where it takes this long, right? I mean, Kamil Majchrzak, for example, had his doping tests done in October, September, and until now there hasn't been any info about it since then. We only have the info that they have the masking substance and the substances that they found in his blood, and since then it's like quiet. So like that's how long it takes for everyone. And it sucks. It like completely sucks. I agree. It's just like in real life courts, right? When you are scheduled to have a court case in like 11 months or something, and it shouldn't be like this, I guess. But
they're not warming up; they're going out straight to serve. I just want to know, like, I'm curious because there's a lot of people in the chat are thinking that Halep is being unfairly picked on, maybe even targeted specifically, and I would be interested to know why people think that. Because I don't see any basis for Halep to be specifically targeted by any kind of sporting authority for any particular reason. I don't think she's spoken out about anything. She's a pretty big star. It's kind of hurts tennis more than helps it. So
yeah, I think her case has been really similar to like going on like in a very similar fashion to like most other doping cases. It's just that about these others we don't hear as much, because they're not as high profile. Like I don't know, recently, no, that's actually match fixing, but like Baptiste Crepat was accused of match fixing and banned, and like he's not gonna put out a statement because it doesn't make sense. No one knows who he is. Okay. Recently we've had Andre Martin get out of a doping suspension, right, on a pretty ridiculous reason. I don't know if it's actually true, but it was that he played in a floorball event. I don't know if you guys know what floorball even is. It's like this hockey inside the gymnastics hall, basically, or something like that. It's not played with skates. It's just played on, you're running with a stick and hitting the puck. But anyway, it's not even a puck, actually. It's just a ball, and it's called floorball. And he was playing a tournament like this in Slovakia, and his friend had water bottle that looked exactly the same like his, and in that water bottle there was something that tennis players can't take. So it's wild, right? But that case was also going on for like a year almost. I think he was banned around maybe May last year, and we heard that reason, that the whole explanation like just a month ago or something. So that, I think that cycle really just I think that cycle is pretty similar in most of these cases. So yeah.
Well, the match eventually started after the disruption from the crowd, and that started with an epic backhand return from Rybakina that was a winner. Okay, I've just seen Rybakina's backhand hit the tram lines for 15 all. Where am I relative to you two?
Sorry, again?
Where am I relative to you two? I've just seeing Ostapenko serving at love 30. It's love 30.
I'm seeing her serve at love 15, so I am a bit behind, but it's fair.
Mario, where are you at?
It is love 30 on my screen.
Where I am at love 40.
You love 40. Okay, so Mario's the furthest ahead. So we can rely on Mario to update us the quickest on what is happening.
And I guess we're kind of seeing like what we were talking about, that first game after the break can be pretty tricky, even though this break wasn't that long, right? It was, 20 minutes? I don't think they even did the full warm-up. So it was pretty short, but still
There was no warm-up.
Patchy. It's just some patchy play from Ostapenko since coming back. And Rybakina has definitely been benefited of the break, even if she doesn't break here. We'll see.
Yeah, Rybakina has definitely been the rustier. Well, they're both pretty rusty because Rybakina's had a few lucky let calls that's kept her in the point, but Ostapenko's definitely not found her consistency yet.
Now Ostapenko is complaining.
Yeah, she did find this insane forehand winner cross court though, but I don't know. Maybe on your screen she's already broken or something. I'm not sure.
No, it's 15-14. Ostapenko's arguing about something to do with the line.
Okay. Maybe just being slippery or something, right? So now Ostapenko doesn't want to play.
Does one of you have sound on in the background, by the way?
I don't. Yeah, it's definitely about the lines being slippery because I just see the chair umpire, just trying to see if they are. So it's definitely about that. So yeah, it looks like Ostapenko now wants to stop, and we'll see if he's successful.
No, I was just asking about the sound because I was just worried about the like audio coming through on the stream. That was all. But Ostapenko's walking back to. She's trying to walk back to her chair.
Yeah.
Are they saying it's too slippery? I guess the player that's behind is the one that wants to play the least.
No, but if you're like 15-40, do you really want to go take another break and like come back to it at 15-40? I don't know if I would.
Yeah, they are covering the court.
Oh, okay.
Are the players getting off?
Well, if they're covering the court, I would assume the players are coming off.
Yeah.
I would assume too, but I haven't seen it yet. They are now.
Enough.
Okay. So I guess that's the cue for us, or like
I would agree. Yeah, if there's no play, let's just pause it. I'm sure we can figure out what to kind of put on for everyone who's waiting. We'll put back on.
I actually know what John wants, like the music. So
I'll let you sort that, Damien.
We could also can you maybe find the banner that would I actually have it too, but maybe you can do the banner and I'll find the music, right? Just say something that we're off while there's a rain delay and we're going to be back when the match starts, or
of course,
however you want to phrase it. I got the music ready, so like whenever we do that we can probably get off and
sure.
Guys, you guys enjoy some music, and as we said, we're going to be back whenever they're back. Hopefully, because of course in tennis, like the system about informing fans about rain delays and etc. is quite tricky to follow. Like there's basically no system, so sometimes you can very easily miss the rest of the match because you're just not going to know when it's happening.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining us so far. Hope to see you again when play restarts.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're already back. So yeah, guys, as I said earlier, actually, the systems like of informing fans about rain delays are just absolute dog. You know what, in tennis? I think. Oh, I have to add out. No, you can add yourself. Okay. Panic. You're here pretty angry. I actually missed the first point too. I can't hear you though. So you probably are muted.
I'm not muted.
Oh, shoot, that's mine. I had the whole page muted actually.
Yeah,
to not hear the music.
Don't worry about it. I literally came just through from doing something else while I was waiting, and then like, oh, it's 4-3. Oh, I better jump back on.
Yeah, I saw it means that they're back on the court, and then I checked the the flash score or whatever, and it was already game for Rybakina. So I also have no clue.
I mean, it's not a surprise given she was 1 point away from breaking, but
exactly.
That makes the
I know it was just 1 point because I had commentary on at the beginning, and they just said that it's so ridiculous that we just play 1 point and it's the change of ends, and yeah, that's true.
All right, so we're back on serve in the second set. Makes things very interesting.
Yeah, in a way, but it can also lead to the match being over quite quickly. Ostapenko will definitely be quite angry about this if she loses this set because, well, there was a delay. They came back. They played 4 points, which put her in a pretty terrible position. And, there's another delay. So I guess it kind of poses the question whether they should have played the 4 points. But, of course, without actually being there, it's kind of hard to tell like what the weather situation was like.
Yeah, I mean, John's in Rome, right? He'd probably be able to let us know, but
is he?
I thought he was.
I don't think he is. I think he went to Rome for like a day or something, but today he told me that he is in Switzerland, I think. I have no clue why he is in Switzerland. He started talking about chocolate and Roger Federer, but if these are the reasons, I don't know.
First thing you think of when you say Switzerland, clearly.
Yeah, I'm gonna just change the light setup a bit.
All right, so Damien's gonna change his lights. Okay, so we've played 4 points.
4 points. Yeah.
I mean, hang on. You must be a bit ahead of me because I've got 3-4, 30-15. Do they stop playing?
Yeah, that's 4 points. Why?
4-15.
No, it's fine. That's 4 points indeed.
Okay. No, I was confused by something you said earlier.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Doesn't matter. All right. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying about the match could be over a lot sooner, and maybe that's the case. I think from the set perspective, given that before the delay, Ostapenko seemed on her way to leveling the match, and judging by that last rally, things might be getting competitive again. Although Ostapenko's gone, well, Rybakina saying Ostapenko's gone wide, umpire's checking it, and is putting it wide. So Rybakina holds serve, and it's 4-all. Ostapenko's complaining again. Seems to be the story of the match. And Ostapenko's claiming that she hit a winner.
Yeah, that's normal, right? I mean, she is complaining about every single line call, especially on clay. So
I could see this getting away from her very, very quickly.
Yeah, must-win game for her right now, and I can feel some sympathy for her here because, well, yeah, that 4-2 up, playing much better than Rybakina, and then all of these delays came, and it just all went to where very quickly. So
Damien moderating himself live on air.
Yeah. I've cursed on a few of these streams before, and I always feel like, should I do this? Should I do this? Maybe some monetization can be cut. I don't know if the monetization is huge anyway, so it probably doesn't matter that much. But if we can avoid it, if we can keep ourselves from cursing, that would be good. I'm
gonna insert the meme. You guys are getting paid?
Well, to some extent.
It's a joke. It's a joke. We don't need to discuss that. Okay, yeah, things are getting away from Ostapenko a little bit because it's now love 15 already. tricky serve for Rybakina to try and return, but that might have been called out. Ostapenko is now striding forward. Umpire is down from the chair again, trying to find the mark, and is calling it. He's calling it out. I don't know. The camera didn't actually look at our hand.
Yeah, it's not looking amazing for Ostapenko again. Down here. I mean, she's calling Rybakina here, so it has to be in, I think, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay, no, it was the first serve that gone out. It's love 15. Let on that serve. So okay, yeah. So no points lost. It was probably just a second serve for Ostapenko. You may have mentioned it when I wasn't on air, but or early in the stream when I wasn't watching, but do you think there's a reason Ostapenko might particularly struggle against Rybakina? Because obviously there was that Australian Open quarterfinal they played that went very heavily in Rybakina's favor.
I mean, they played each other 3 times, Ostapenko won twice, but yeah, maybe before Rybakina was like a top player. Jesus. Yeah, it's definitely looking great right now. Yeah, just the fact that she plays a pretty heavy, deep ball, and for Ostapenko, it's just kind of hard to find a weakness, I suppose, and overwhelm her like she can any other opponent. I guess it's just hard to do that with your pace against Rybakina right now, and yeah, I guess that's probably a reason enough, and also the fact that their serves, there's a pretty big difference between them, and it's obvious because for most players against Rybakina, that's going to be the case. I just feel like it maybe hits Ostapenko as a player who just always tries to be on top a little bit more, and yeah, and maybe we're not going to be here for that much longer even.
That's backhand winner to break. Off a second serve out wide from Ostapenko. Rybakina breaks, she will serve for the match. That went by very quick. That's just turned very south very quickly for Ostapenko.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like the match was decided by the rain delays, which is not great. I mean, of course, nothing was really blocking Ostapenko from performing better in these games. It's just that, she had all the momentum at 4-2 and it's up in the second. And then everything just went awry so quickly. Not great to see, but well,
no,
that's probably also.
It feels standard for Ostapenko, doesn't it? Really,
to an extent, yeah. But I think that's also going to be one of the things that people are going to remember about this tournament and like this match and all the little fails that have appeared so far. I'm not, this is a thing that happens, but like together with all of these other scheduling issues and etc., it kind of paints the picture of like a mess. But at least they are probably going to finish it today, which is going to help the organizers because they clearly want to have the final tomorrow. And
that makes no sense to me. I mean, it makes some sense to me, but like if you're gonna, I feel like they're overpacking the schedule. Like by all means, have a men's semi-finals down on Saturday. I think having 2 finals on the same day would be an awesome for the tournament. Clearly, they don't want to do that. Having 2 men's semi-finals followed by the women's final kind of overshadows the women's final a little bit, in my view. Doesn't give us
probably
much.
The first time we've seen this, right? Probably the first time we've seen this when the women's final is on the same day of the men's semis. Like that has not been done before, I think, by any event. So
US Open.
It is a novelty.
US Open used to do it
on the same day.
I think so. Yeah, Super Saturday it was called.
What? And but then they would have to play on Sunday without a day of a break. Really?
Yeah. Hang on.
That would be.
I know insane. They did it at least once. So 1984 US Open is kind of a legendary day because they had.
So what was the women's final on Friday then?
No, it was on the same day. They played the men's final the next day.
That's insane, but okay.
So basically,
I'm not noting what you said, but that's insane.
that 1980. So I think they don't when they got rid of it, but Super Saturday. So essentially, 1984 Super Saturday. So the second Saturday of the tournament. Ivan Lendl beat Pat Cash in 5 sets. Mm-hmm. Then Chris Evert beat Navratilova to win the women's title in 3 sets. And Navratilova beat Evert to win in 3 sets. And then McEnroe and Connors played 5 sets. And it finished at 11-14 in the evening. And that was all on one day. And then McEnroe and Lendl played the final the next day.
That was actually planned.
Yes.
That is absolutely insane. Like, that's the stupidest idea I've heard, to make someone play a best of 5 match and then the next tomorrow, the day after by design. Like, not counting Davis Cup when it's just like 2 matches, right? But
it used to be men's semi-final. This was a regular thing. They used to do it every year. Men's semi-final, women's final, second men's semi-final, and they only got rid of it 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 2013 was 2012 or 2013 was the last time they did it.
Here I can see that in 2001 they moved the women's singles match to prime time, but I guess it still stayed on. They also began changing separate admission. No, I guess it just stayed on the same day, but it was just moved, time wise. But,
yeah.
30 all. A couple of forehand errors from Rybakina in this game. Ostapenko just trying to put the ball back into the court a bit more, which is rare for her, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And it's certainly quite desperate. Yeah, last 15 points, Rybakina winning 12.
Amelie's very excited to see Elena Rybakina. On my screen, it's just gone to match point at 1 hour and 31 minutes. Rybakina's moved to 40-30 and is serving for a place in the Rome final, the Italian Open final. Some interesting history around the Italian Open, which I might share at some point. But she abandons the ball toss, gets ready to serve, puts it into the net. So we'll see what happens there. Rybakina serves out wide. Ostapenko back into play. Backhand up the line, Rybakina. Ostapenko gets it with a forehand. Monster forehand cross-court. Rybakina somehow retrieves it. Ostapenko tries to move Rybakina around, hits the forehand winner. Deuce. That was a peak Ostapenko point right there to save match point and hit a winner right on the line. Ghost, you're quite right. There were 2 Australian Opens in 1977. I believe that was due to the fact they were trying to move it from January to December.
January to December,
yeah. Which they then...
Ghosty would know, right? Because who won one of them?
Oh, yeah, he did. He did. It must be fond memories for our dear Ghost who haunts the streams. Match point again. Unreturnable serve from Rybakina. Yeah, should be streams of the finals. We'll have to keep your eyes peeled. I can't announce anything about the finals yet, but there will probably be something. Rybakina cross court, so Ostapenko forehand. They're training forehands. Ostapenko's dictating again, pushing Rybakina back, keeping going cross court. Ostapenko goes up the line. Rybakina managed to just make it over, and Ostapenko backhand into the net. Whilst on top of the point, she was trying to move in. Rybakina fist pumps. She is into the Rome final. She will play Angelina Kalinina. Who would have called that at the start of the tournament?
Yeah, what a weird match.
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the delays. Lots of the matchup issues that we were sort of thinking about at the beginning of the stream, I was talking about it. They were definitely in place, but 4-2 up, lots of momentum going for Ostapenko, and then it all just disappears after the delays. It's 6-2, 6-4 actually.
Oh yeah. I put that up and I was like, nope.
Yeah, let's stay in maybe and talk about Rybakina Kalinina for a second, but sounds kind of routine, but then again, Kalinina has been grinding out some awesome wins this week. And yeah, but just watching Rybakina in the last few matches, right? I mean, even if she was gonna lose to Świątek, not taking like the without the injury, even if she was gonna lose to Świątek, she was still playing very well.
She was.
And the last few matches she's played, they really kind of fill you with confidence. She can do it. Of course, this year she's also been in so many finals, and generally she plays like she has no nervous system and like just ice in her veins and etc. All the cliches. I'm using all the cliches of sports commentary.
I call her the ice queen, which usually is an insult, but I mean it as a compliment.
Yeah, it's like the characters from Fables and from some animations, but that's really been helpful for sure, and the experience in the finals cannot hurt, right? Even though she's lost 2 of them.
No, I reckon Rybakina is going to be the favourite. She's going to handle the occasion far better than Kalinina. I think Kalinina will probably take it to her a little bit. I think she's going to try her best at points. I think the battle of the flat hitting on this slow clay is going to be interesting to watch. But I agree. I think Rybakina will probably handle things a little bit better. And Kalinina was saying afterwards that she feels like her legs are gone. So if she's playing tomorrow, then that's going to be a tough recovery.
But she is. She absolutely is, right?
Yeah,
that's how they schedule this. I guess it could be raining and they could play on Sunday. I guess that's the only way for Kalinina to play on Sunday, I suppose.
So yeah, I think Rybakina with that in mind, but I think Kalinina will get a few games. She'll make it interesting enough for it to be a decent watch. But yeah, fully expecting Rybakina to win her second 1,000 title of the year. And continue her way up the rankings. And actually, if she wins the title, she will be the world number 4, 4th seed for Roland Garros, which is probably about where she deserves to be top 4. And
of course, we cannot really stress this enough, but with the Wimbledon points, she would be top 3. By a wide margin. She wouldn't be in the top 2. But she would be by a wide margin. I actually think she would be in the top 2 because she would have gotten better draws after Wimbledon. But these things cannot really check. So that's a very very detailed idea. But anyway, she also is very firmly in the 2nd place in the WTA race. So maybe it's not actually a Sabalenka-Świątek race for the world number 1 spot. Maybe Rybakina can join it. I mean, so far this year, she certainly has shown that she can. And by the way, when it comes to Kalinina and Rybakina playing each other, they've only faced once in Charleston 2022 with Kalinina winning 6-4, 2-6, 6-4. How much does that go? How much importance does this have? Probably very little. However, maybe it's something to look at. I can't really think of like a matchup issue that Rybakina would have with Kalinina, I guess. But, some confidence for the Ukrainian, I suppose.
Yeah,
and
definitely. Definitely, I think she'll have a lot of confidence going into that match based on that result, if she recovers well enough. I think maybe it's the kind of when Kalinina kind of goes for broke, very few people can live with it when it works. Certainly from when I saw the Kudermetova match, which was only like the end of the final set. Kalinina is an interesting one. I think it will be some hope for her, but as you say, not that relevant, especially since Charleston, very different conditions. But I'm looking forward to it. Should be interesting. Do you know what, Damien? The other matches that are happening tomorrow. So obviously we've talked a little bit about the crazy scheduling that the women's finals tomorrow. We've talked a bit about that. The men's semi-finals are before that. That's a cracking semi-final lineup they've got. How do you see those semi-finals playing out?
So we've got Tsitsipas, Medvedev, and Rune Ruud, right?
Ruud.
Yeah, Tsitsipas Medvedev, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if you were there back then, but someone in the chat, I think it was Matthew, asked about like whether if Medvedev wins against Tsitsipas tomorrow, does he become like a top 4 favorite for the French? Which actually maybe like it could be a discussion if he beats Tsitsipas, who I think is like very distinctly in the 4th spot right now. Which is why it could be a discussion. In the past, of course, they've played on clay twice, but that last match at the French was not really promising for Daniil. So I think if, especially from Tsitsipas's perspective, if he loses this tomorrow, then it's like going to be such a huge hit to his confidence and like, our perspective also on his form on clay, because this is supposed to be his surface, especially compared to Medvedev. So I would say it's more vital for Tsitsipas to win it for sure. Like Medvedev is just a bit of a wild card there. Of course, you don't really think of it this way when you're in the semis. Even if you're Medvedev on clay, you're already thinking about winning the tournament. But he might play actually as if he has nothing to lose, less to lose than Tsitsipas, I would suppose. So I actually think it could be tricky. I'm very excited to see how this pans out, because this is not a matchup that we've been watching on clay for years. Like Tsitsipas Medvedev on hard courts, frankly, I'm kind of bored. I am bored of a lot of these matchups that we've been watching so much over the years, and here there's just enough uncertainty for me to be very interested. And Ruud Rune, I don't think it should be close. I know the head-to-head is 4-0 for Ruud, I think, or something along these lines. Definitely Holger hasn't beaten him and has lost to him a fair few times.
Okay.
I do think that he should be winning this tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
And just matchup issues, I'm not even sure they exist. Like I just think Rune has such a varied skill set right now, and the ability to execute basically any game plan, and the fact that they last played, of course, that all of these matches came on clay, so I guess maybe that will kind of make you think, but still they had like 2 beatdowns in 2021. Rune was 18 back then, barely turned 18. I think in one of these matches he was 17 even, and last year they actually had 2 pretty tight battles, and still Rune of Roland Garros 2022 and Rune of right now, I do believe that it's a very different player. So I would certainly agree with that, with Rune being favored there. And that's how I see it. What about you?
Yeah. I have the same feeling. I think Rune is a better player than Roland Garros last year. I think he's on fire right now. His clay season is possibly the best on tour right now. I saw Ruud's win over Sarundalo, and I wasn't convinced that tennis would be enough to beat someone like Holger Rune in form, or even Stefanos Tsitsipas in form. I would agree with you. I think Rune is going to win that one. Tsitsipas Medvedev, on paper, Tsitsipas should win it, but I just have this. Tsitsipas just seems a little bit vulnerable to upsets on clay at the minute. Like he lost to Fritz in Monte Carlo, he lost to Struff in Madrid. Struff it seems to be a thorn in his side, head-to-head wise, but Fritz, that was an odd loss. And I could see since Tsitsipas has got a few wins against Medvedev on hard, I wouldn't be surprised if Medvedev gets a win against him on clay, and we end up with a Rune Medvedev final, which would be bonkers. But at that point, I would probably back Rune to win it.
Do you remember? I mean, they played in Monte Carlo, right? And like Holger totally dominated him, but that was also because of that tight match that Medvedev had with Zverev, and he had no legs for this at all. And because of the doubles, it was actually not scheduled as the last match of the day, but as the third match of the day, which made a lot of difference. But still, Holger just has a lot of he can play Medvedev the same way Alcaraz does play Medvedev. So I would also be backing the Dane in this one. I even said in a tweet a couple of days ago after he beat Djokovic that he's like the overwhelming favorite for the title. I was intoxicated. I was intoxicated.
But even intoxicated, you know what you're talking about.
Well, I wouldn't say he's the overwhelming favorite for the title, but I would agree that he is. I definitely am higher on him than most people are. So yeah, I would agree with myself with the word favorite, but overwhelming, that was a bit of a stretch.
The one caveat with Holger Rune we have to always throw out is fitness. That's the thing.
Yeah, 2 matches in a row, I guess. If who's playing first tomorrow, actually?
He is Rune and Ruda first.
Yeah, then I don't think it's gonna matter really. Like it would have to be a 4-hour match for that to matter on Sunday, I think. Of course, it killed him in Monte Carlo, but he was playing until what 11 p.m. something like that against
That would probably explain it. Yeah,
Rublev. 10 p.m. maybe 10 p.m. And he was dead from the first set against Rublev. Still almost won it, but I think it's a pretty fair assumption that he would have won it if not for the fitness issues.
Just to I'll throw out a question. Obviously, we've talked about what we think is probably I think we might get a Rune Medvedev final, which just because I like to go with my gut, and my gut is only right 50% of the time. You're probably going for a Rune Tsitsipas final.
I guess like the second semi, I don't have a strong opinion on.
Okay.
I mostly want to see it. Like there's a lot of uncertainty, I think.
Yeah, but what would be, just say on paper, forgetting kind of form on it, on paper, of the combinations we could get, Rune Medvedev, Rune Tsitsipas, Rude Medvedev, Rude Tsitsipas, which would be the most interesting final?
No, nothing with Casper Ruud. I'm sorry. This game is just less enjoyable for me. I guess for most people it is. Nothing against the guy. And probably nothing with Tsitsipas. I'm gonna have to say Rune Medvedev. Fresher matchup than Rune Tsitsipas, I think. Rune Tsitsipas we've already seen more. And yeah, I'm just excited to see, I guess, I will be excited. I would be excited if that happens, to see how different that would be from their Monte Carlo match.
Yeah. I think it could be very interesting. Any of them could be interesting, potentially. I think it sets up a fascinating picture going to Roland Garros, especially with Nadal not in the mix. So yeah. But so there you go. Rybakina's beaten Ostapenko 6-2, 6-4. We've got a bumper day of tennis to look forward to tomorrow. 2 men's semi-finals followed by the women's final in the evening.
Yeah, we'll just one more thing, because
what the rain goes.
A couple of people were asking about Świątek and like the injury. So she, as someone said in the chat, it was something with her thigh. She has already stated that it's probably not serious. That I mean, not initially, that she was going to diagnose it and etc. And that right now it's probably okay. So
I would say so from watching that match. She's like, yes, it was affecting her, but I don't think it's that severe. I think she will recover pretty well for Roland Garros.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really say that if they play at Roland Garros, Rybakina is the favorite from here. Świątek was 6-2, 4-2 up in this match after all. So I wouldn't really go that far, but it's certainly interesting. And I guess it was already interesting before Rome. But maybe this even adds to the spice a little bit, to the fact that Świątek still hasn't beaten Rybakina this year. We can't really say that Rybakina has beaten her 3 times. She has beaten her like 2.5 times. Or maybe even less if you factor in the fact that the injury came in the second set and Świątek was up by a lot. But it adds a bit of, just like with the Tsitsipas Medvedev matchup on clay now, it just adds a bit of uncertainty that's going to be interesting if they play, of course. Yeah,
I think that without the injury, Świątek would have won that match anyway. I think the only reason that Rybakina broke back was a bit of a loose game from Świątek. Just a bit of a slight dip. I think Świątek's level was high enough without the injury. I think it was high enough with the injury to keep up with Rybakina. So, I think she would have won through in that match in the end. And I think the same thing would happen at Roland Garros. And I'd say the same thing against pretty much any other player in the draw. So yeah, I'm fully confident that I'm still Iga Świątek. Fitness questions or not, is still the overall favorite for Roland Garros.
And she's still like 50% favorite against the field. Like
exactly.
That's the extent of it. Maybe Alcaraz is a similar one, but I would say she's probably the higher. She's probably a bit higher. But
I have differing opinions on the ATP favorites for Roland Garros.
So it's not Alcaraz for you?
No.
Oh
I think
crap!
yeah.
now I've cursed, and I think it was fully justified because I'm very surprised. But okay, that's
No,
Djokovic.
I
Then.
don't think Alcaraz is the clear favorite.
Oh, interesting.
I think he's one of the three most likely to win it. And you know, I don't know where exactly I'd put him. Probably second or third favorite. I just don't think he likes slow clay that much in comparison to other surfaces. And I think if he was to play a fit Djokovic or a firing Holger Rune, he'd lose. So for me, it's I'd say right now, I know Djokovic is patchy, but I cannot bet against Djokovic. The other player who I'm very tempted to go for and say will win the French Open is actually Holger Rune.
I like that.
I am this close to fully backing Holger Rune to win the French Open.
Yeah, and I actually said it many times on like Talking Tennis shows already that there's this certain I guess we haven't really seen Rune versus Alcaraz much, but I think it will be like Sinner versus Alcaraz. Where
Yes.
Against the fields they perform differently, but once they are going to play each other, it's actually going to be super tight, I think. So yeah, I think for me, maybe even Rune would be tougher for Alcaraz than Djokovic. I don't know. I guess we can see. I mean, how Djokovic plays himself into form through the first week and etc. But yeah, I can get behind a lot of things you said. And by the way, I just remembered this because at the beginning of the year, I think it was you. If it wasn't you, then I'm gonna have to talk about it with maybe Jack or someone. But when there were all these Talking Tennis streams about the Australian Open, and someone asked a question of who, in our opinion, is going to be in the top 4 at year end. Was I doing this with you?
I don't remember this conversation, but doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen.
That doesn't mean it didn't happen. But I was doing this with someone. It certainly wasn't Mario. It certainly wasn't John. And basically we both said Medvedev. And when John heard about this, he was like laughing his ass off, and he was just absolutely certain that this was never happening. And right now, you know, me and you or someone else from the Talking Tennis community, I think it must have been you or Jack, but I have no clue. But you know,
Jack
really
would be more likely, I think, because I don't remember backing
right
Medvedev. I don't remember backing Medvedev very much at the Australian Open to do well.
No, I mean, no, not at the Australian Open. It was just about year end, you know.
Oh, year end. Yeah, no, but during the Australian Open period, I don't remember backing him very strongly.
Neither of us was thinking that Medvedev was going to do that well at the Australian Open. We were just thinking about year end. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I was thinking about year end, but letting the Australian Open influence my thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, yeah.
So okay. I don't think it was me.
Probably Jack, I think. But anyway, anything?
But yeah, well, look, we're in for a 3-way #1 fight in the ATP now between Djokovic, Alcaraz, and Medvedev. If say my crazy idea comes true and Rune wins Roland Garros, he could get himself in the mix as well.
Yeah, didn't do that much before the clay season, right? But like, if he won a slam, of course he would be in contention. Yeah.
I mean, don't forget Casper Ruud was in contention for world #1.
Very close.
Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Probably a set point to win the whole thing, right?
Ruud,
if he went 2-1 up, and Tsitsipas, was it the Australian Open? Like, if he won the final, he would have been the #1. Okay,
exactly.
So. Just trying to check. Like, Rune is currently 7th in the race, so like if he won,
it would be ambitious. Yeah.
Let's say if he won, but actually if he won Roland Garros and Rome, he would be very likely to be like in the top 2. He would maybe be eclipsed by like Medvedev and Alcaraz if they were in the final. But otherwise, if he won both Rome and Roland Garros, he would be very like, it would be very possible that he would be #1 or #2. So yeah, it's ambitious, but you know, it's your gut tells you that, right?
It's like, that's an if it happens. If it doesn't happen, then he's not in contention.
No, I just mean your gut tells you that he is very likely to win the French.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna read your name because I'm just gonna butcher it completely. But someone in the chat also says that Alcaraz is overall favorite, but not 100%. Which yeah, I guess it's fair. I would definitely say that Świątek is a bit more of a favorite than Alcaraz for me, and I'm probably also just like with Rune. Well, not compared to you, but also like with Rune, I'm probably a bit higher on Alcaraz at the French than most people are. So yeah, but of course it's not a given, and yeah, Rune Djokovic seem like the biggest threats right now. Is that all? I think it is, right?
I think we're done. I think we're about to hit 3 hours on the stream, and it's been great fun as always. Hopefully you all enjoyed the chaos and the controversy, and we'll probably be back at some point over the weekend. If anything, we'll be back for our various ATP and WTA shows.
On the weekend, probably Sunday, right? ATP Weekly,
probably, yeah.
WTA Weekly, maybe Monday. Actually, I think after Monday.
Probably more Monday, because
Monday.
I would imagine the Rome final is going to be quite late.
Yeah, but then again, your final is going to be tomorrow, right?
But I would imagine we wouldn't want to. If we talk about WTA with the Rome final having just happened, it might. It might not be the relevant conversation.
Anyway, guys, we're gonna see this. This is why you should subscribe and hit the bell, because then you're not gonna miss any notifications about the streams and the weekly shows and the talking tennis commentaries and like some weird shorts that John posts. You're not gonna miss anything basically if you hit the bell. It doesn't cost anything, but if you want something that's gonna cost you, you can also join the member program.
Membership, yes.
Membership
be a
program.
YouTube member. Yeah. Subscribe on Twitch.
So feel free to do that. We are all definitely excited to have you in the comments and sort of get the conversation going. As always, it really helps. So thanks for everyone who showed up today.
Cheers, everyone.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.